always just use raw sienna. Sometimes I'll just use cranberry wine with some cadmium yellow. Depends on the rose. And you see that kind of makes a kind of a rusty reddy thing. Or it could be raw sienna with a little cranberry wine in it.
Can't hardly tell the difference.
There's not much difference. So I use these depending on what's on my palette. And then I'll go ahead and just kind of dabby. I want this to be just a value or two lighter than the dark. So I'll go ahead and just kind of dab in there with that. Then I'll add more cadmium yellow to it. Make it a little bit lighter. And then I'll dab again, not covering everything. And then I'll go ahead and just pick up some cadmium yellow, and I'll add just a few little light ones at the top. You want the centers to be there, but you don't want them to reach out and grab you by the throat and choke you. So they're there, but you don't really want them to pop out. And sometimes I'll come back like this rose. I think it needs some more highlights, so I'll come back. You know, this is a judgment thing, and I'll come back and do some more, add a few more white highlights in certain areas.
Would you put any, like a leaf reflection on any of those petals? That doesn't.
I didn't. You could. I do that a lot of times in composition. So and this, what she's talking about is, let me get a dark, transparent green.
Oh, don't do that, Donna.
Why not? I do this a lot in composition. So, but you got to have a transparent value. You can't use. You can't use.
Yeah, that's very transparent.
A little more transparent than I want. So.
Is that evergreen? What is that?
This is plantation pine. It's one of my, I use that a lot. Okay, so here on a petal like this one, that's lower, then you would kind of just pull a little bit of that in there. You see how that kind of darkens the petal?
Oh, yeah.
You could do it with this one right in here. So it's kind of a, where you want to set a petal underneath something or a leaf. You could do that, like this petal right in here. You could do it on this. You need to be a little bit careful when you're doing it on pinks and reds, because you're going to make some mud, but you can do that sort of thing. I don't do it a lot with stroke roses, because stroke roses aren't real roses. They're not realistic. It would be done more if you were doing a blended rose. Now I wanted to show you, and this rose I would shade and highlight the same way I did this one. But on my leaves, I pretty much finished the basic leaf. But I like to add some accents to the leaves, and so I usually will pick up cranberry wine. Sometimes I'll mix a little bit of the plantation pine with it, which just makes it a little bit of a darker, dirty kind of a green. And then I will come up here and I'll brush this over some of the shaded areas of the leaves. This is something that just kind of ties the leaves together with the roses. It's a kind of a, I call it a unifying thing. On some of the roses, I will go ahead and come out here and just kind of do a little bit on the tip, kind of following the little jagged things that you see on roses. So here's one, a kind of...
The leaves are beautiful.
So just, you know, this one is one I think I was going to put a bug bite there, and I decided against that bug bite. So I do this on several of the roses, all, you know, around the... And this one is at the top, so I definitely will do that on that one. And then I'll come over here and pull some of it in here. And you see how this just subtly changes. Your red is your complement of green, so it will just tone it down too. So, and if I do it, I try not to do it in too many of the highlight areas other than just on the edges of the leaves. So let's see. Let's do one right in here. But this just kind of, you know, ties it all together. Now, I'll probably would do some more on those, but just so you all have time to paint. The bug bites. I use cranberry wine with this green. Make you a little dirty, dark, kind of an ugly kind of thing. You see how brown that gets?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can, if it helps, you can moisten an area first inside. It'll help the paint disperse, and then I just kind of tickle this on the edge of the bite. And I might pull a few little lines coming in, like, you know, they're starting to chew into the rose a little bit.
Reminds me, I gotta get some rose powder.
And then over here on the leaf, I do the same thing. I just kind of come in, and I didn't do one on the inside. If you want to do one on the inside, you just have to make a little jagged hole where your background comes through, whatever's your background, and then you just go around the little hole, and that'll make an inside one. I think there's some examples over there on that other one. And then this one was going to be a bug bite. And that's the way you do it, finishing. Although this one really does need a few more highlights, and then I need to shade this one a little bit, separate some of the petals in here. And here, I didn't do enough around there, so I'll just pretend that I did another one of those strokes that closes the mouth. And then we'll come in here. I think I got too much paint on my brush there. I could put a bug bite right in there. That's kind of a jagged little edge, so. But you see how the shading makes the rose pop out. So, when I don't have very much paint left, that's when I'll do these back petals. Looks like I created a petal in there. I don't know. I didn't know I had, but anyway.
Pluck it out.
There. And then add a few, you know, highlights. Now, if this were a red rose, we'd do a lot of things differently, and if we have time, I'll show you how to do the red roses and how to, okay, and this one you don't want to highlight everything because the light's coming here and it's kind of tucked behind that other rose. So it's mostly these petals that are going to catch the light. When we get through with this, I'm going to raffle this one off to whoever wants it. You can put your names in a, not raffle it, but have a drawing.
Write their name on a piece of paper.
Write their name on a piece of paper, and we'll have a drawing, and you'll have to, you will have to finish it as far as the, you know, what you call it, the varnishing and all that. What you, if you want to, if you want to, if you want to do anything on the edges.
Everyone's gonna get a hanger for Christmas with something on it, the ladies.
I was gonna make all my great grandkids sew them stockings. I knitted a bunch of them, the older ones. But I got to thinking,
Okay, that's pretty much, I have to put the center in this one, but that's just pretty much what I would do. That's pretty much finished except for the center. And another bug bite. So let me get the bug bite done here before this dries up.
Remember I was asking how I could find person to sell me the middle part of the hanger.
Did you find somebody?
No, I couldn't find any in craft stores. I called everything in the United States.
Oh, you mean the hanger
So I
part?
finally called a hanger company, and I talked to this man. He said, yeah, I make hangers. And I said, well, I'm looking for just the wire part to put on a wooden hanger. And I wondered if you might sell me some. And he says, well, how many do you want? And I said, oh, I don't know, 10 or 12. He goes, well, lady, my postage would cost more than that. I said, really? They're that chill? So I said, well, send me, 4 dozen. So I said, okay, I can do that. So I got all these little goosenecks now for hangers. So Jolene had her husband make her a bunch of hangers too. But I could not find them anywhere. I just had to ask this gentleman if he'd let me have some of his
Okay,
stock.
I think that's pretty much finished. So,
Where's the paper? I gotta put my name in. That's so pretty.
Don't let Sharon do it, because she'll put Sharon on every piece of paper.
I'll even